Today I will introduce the drawing tools in Adobe Animate CC 2020. There are many different ways to draw in Adobe Animate. The main tools are the pen tool, the pencil tool, and the paintbrush. Let's start with the pen tool. The pen tool allows you to draw straight and curved paths. It has additional tools, and you can reveal them by clicking and holding to reveal more options. Here's the pen tool. If you click and hold, you see the Add Anchor Point, Delete Anchor Point, and Convert Anchor Point tools. The pen tool gives you full control over the placement of the anchor points. It is very similar to the pen tool in Illustrator. So if you're familiar with the pen tool in Illustrator, this will be a very easy transition for you. Click on the pen tool to select it. Go to the properties and change your settings. I'm going to use a solid line style. I'm going to make my line 2 points, and I'm going to use just the regular uniform appearance for my line. Next, I'm going to click on the stage and draw a straight path. To draw a straight path, all you have to do is click, 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 and click. Do not click and drag, because that will draw a curved line. So drawing straight line is very easy. Click, 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 click. To disconnect the path, hit the escape key. That will deselect your path and will allow you to start a new one. Let's see the same path but with different settings. Again, I'm going to go to Properties. I'm going to change the stroke size to 8 points. I'm going to change the style to a dotted line. I'm going to go back here and I will continue to draw. So click, 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 and click. Now if you want your lines to be perfectly vertical or perfectly horizontal, you may hold down the Shift key. Here's the pen tool selected. So I click, hold down the Shift. Notice how my line is perfectly straight. I go up, perfectly vertical, perfectly horizontal, or diagonal. You can also draw diagonal lines. There you go. So if you're drawing straight lines or object with straight edges, the pen tool is great for that. You can also draw curved lines using the pen tool. Here is how you can do that. Click on the pen tool to select it, and now click and drag up, click and drag down, click and drag up, click and drag down, click and drag up, click and drag down. This is called an open path. You can close the open path by going to your first line. Notice the little circle appears. If you click now, you can close the path. So now this is a shape. So let's say I want to adjust the curves here. To adjust the anchor points and the curves, you need to choose your subselection tool. Alright, so click on the path to activate it. Click on specific anchor point, and you're going to see the directional lines, rather. Okay, here. So you can click right on the anchor point and move it up and down. You can also extend or change the direction of your directional lines and adjust the appearance of your curves. So this is how you can draw quickly a shape, and then you can model it. You can modify it by using the directional lines here, or otherwise known as handles in Illustrator. So if you're used to calling them handles, feel free to do that. Alright, there we go. So now we learn how to draw straight paths and curved paths, and also how to close the path so that we can fill it with color. This is my fill color. I'm going to grab my paint bucket, drop color, that's it. So now this is a shape, this is a line. Pencil tool is your main drawing tool in Adobe Animate. It allows you to draw freeform curved lines, but also you can draw straight lines by holding down the Shift key. So it has additional options, and this is straighten, smooth, and ink, which will affect the appearance of your line, and you have no control over the placement of the anchor points. Practically, Animate is going to calculate where the anchor points are going to be placed and how many of them will be placed on your path. So it's very similar to the pencil tool in Illustrator, and it also works with the stroke color. So click to select the pencil tool, choose your color, and in the properties, adjust your settings. Now you can adjust. Notice how you have straighten, smooth, and ink settings. These same settings are also available on your toolbox. Right under your stroke color, you see the same settings, straighten, smooth, and ink. Alright, so you can choose them from here, or you can choose them from the properties. Straighten is good for straight lines, smooth is good for smooth lines, and ink does not change the appearance of your lines. So if you want to have kind of a natural look of your lines, a little bit more organic, then choose ink. However, if you like to smooth your lines, choose the smooth option. You're going to see the difference. Alright, so now I'm drawing my line. As soon as I release, my line will be smoother. See how all that kind of a jagged line jerkiness here, it's improved. There you go. When you choose straighten, but instead of smoothing your lines, you're going to get a better straight line quality. Okay, let me delete a few lines so that I can show you. Okay, there we go. So pencil. So here I'm trying to draw straight lines. There you go. Now if you want your lines to be perfectly straight, vertical or straight horizontal, hold down the shift key. So start drawing, hold down the shift. Notice the difference. Perfectly straight line. Perfectly horizontal lines. So now we have learned how to draw straight lines, how to choose the smooth options to draw smooth lines, how to draw perfectly straight vertical and horizontal line. That's how the pencil tool works. Next, we're going to see what we can do with the brush tool. Now the brush tool gives you even more organic lines. So you can draw straight and curved paths. You can hold down the shift key just like we did earlier. You can also straighten, smooth your line, and you have the ink option. And much like the pencil tool, you have no control over where the anchor points are placed, unlike the pen tool. And it's very similar to the brush tool in Illustrator. Now, it's worth to say we have two different brushes. Now, we have the classic brush and we have the improved paintbrush. I encourage you to try both, but I personally am a big fan of the improved paintbrush. So click on the paintbrush tool, go to the properties, choose a setting. So let's say straight or smooth line. I'm going to choose smooth lines. And right here you can choose the style and the width. You'll see the difference in a minute. Alright, so now I'm drawing a smooth line. See how beautiful and smooth this line is? That's because of the smooth option. It's even better than the pencil line we saw earlier. Nice. So you have a lot of control over the quality of your lines here. Now if I want to have more dynamic line, more of a calligraphic look, I can change the width to a width profile 1 and see the difference. Okay, so now you have a thick and thin stroke. Let's make my line a little bigger, alright, so that you can see it better. Notice the difference? Very nice. And to change the color of the stroke. So let's say you want to draw waves. Here's my brush tool selected. Go to properties, choose the size, choose the width. You can even choose the transparency if you want to have more painterly effect. Okay, actually that's a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go to 50. Okay, so I'm going to go back to 100% and you can draw another line and you can see how it appears darker, right? Because this one was slightly transparent. Okay. Yeah, so here we have some kind of vegetation. Good. Nice. So we learned how to use the paintbrush. We learned how to use the pencil strokes. And now I want to show you, after you have drawn your lines, how you can improve them even more. So let's say I like these lines. Remember, I drew this with holding down the shift key, but this is still not perfectly straight, right? So I can straighten them additionally with the selection tool. So choose the selection tool, click on the line to select it, and I go to the properties and you have to scroll down a little bit to reveal the shape options. Suppose I want, so here you have smoothen and straighten. Alright, notice what happens. As soon as I selected straighten, this line was straightened. Alright, so this one has a little bit of a curve. I'm going to select this line, properties, straighten. Nice. Properties, straighten. Good. There we go. So if you have straight lines and you want to improve them furthermore, go to the straighten option, and this option is available again not from the pencil tool, not from the brush tool, but from the selection tool. By now you have probably figured out that the selection tool in Adobe Animate does a lot more than the selection tool in Adobe Illustrator. Alright, can you smooth your lines? Of course you can. Go to properties, scroll down, select your line, choose smooth option, and that's going to smooth your line. Now sometimes perfectly smooth line may not be your goal. You may want to use ink options to get more organic lines. You may use some other options in the properties to create something more interesting. Alright, and this is my introduction of the drawing tools in Adobe Animate.